Okay. What are the broad aims of quality assurance in Irish higher education? I think the first one, and Jim touched on it, and it's very important, it should take the opportunity to affirm good professional practice. And good professional practice in our institutes is not a scarce commodity. There's plenty of it. So quite clearly, in our work as panellists, there is a motivational dimension to what we do in our interaction with our colleagues. So, in affirming good practice, we motivate our colleagues to think further about development, possibly improvement, depending on how we see things. Secondly, it provides a platform for peer insights. Because any member of a panel, all of you here in this room, are people of standing in a community of practice. You are perceived as such, and you will be welcomed as such when you visit institutes and when you interact with your colleagues in those institutes. So therefore, the work that you do has to be seen as a form of what I would call co-professional collaboration. Without an external perspective, there is a danger of insularity. There is a danger of introspection. And that can lead to some blindness. And that's something we need to be wary about. Another broad aim is to promote an openness to learning. For that to really prosper, there has to be a propensity on the part of institutional staff to be receptive to different viewpoints, new ideas, new experiences that are represented by colleagues who have been there and who have demonstrated that in their own experience and their own practice. There's also the broad aim of contributing to development and renewal. And that's a never-ending quest. And the antithesis of that, and sometimes it's useful to think in terms of the opposite, the antithesis of that is what I would call a creeping complacency. Something that creeps up on us without our knowing, comes about unwittingly, and it leads to stagnation. And sometimes we're not necessarily aware of that. So having an outside perspective is a way of guarding against that. The second last broad aim I have here is that accountability requirements on behalf of state have to be satisfied. It's not top of the list, but it's not bottom of the list either. We have legislation, and different jurisdictions have legislation to cater for that. And quite obviously, that's on behalf of the taxpayer. We're all guests of the taxpayer. And society in general needs to be reassured, needs to be assured that our higher education system represents quality. Quality in teaching, quality in learning, quality in management. And that is connected obviously with justifying public confidence in higher education.